Greetings, Dumelang Makadima. Say my name is Buhle and the surname is Khatebe. Xawuthanda ke ungathi wena nguma Khatebe uthi ngubhungane uthi ngumthimkhulu umasobodo mashiya mahle usongelengele ihlubi elihle. With that said, I have greeted everyone. So as you know, I am a South African citizen who's recently moved to South Korea to teach English with the EPIK program. And like I did say in the previous video that I will be doing a whole lot of these snippets of I don't even know what to call them, but these small videos where I am sharing insights on or sharing information rather that would be helpful to you in your journey towards moving to South Korea. I understand that a couple of other people are actually making this transition, coming from different countries, coming from the 7 official countries that South Korea recognizes as NETs, as native countries or native English speakers. So if you are in the journey as well, I firstly would like to commend you for actually thinking about it, because it's one of the big decisions that a person takes, and as such it's also an emotional, physical and a psychological commitment. With that said, and without wasting any of your time, right, in this video, this specific video, I am going to cover the cost of moving to South Korea. I am also going to cover the cost of, I'm also going to cover how you can actually raise the funds to move to South Korea. So there's been a couple of videos, like I said previously in the previous video, that there's so much content already that details how much it costs to move to South Korea. And I am not going in any way going to disregard the information that has already been shared by other creators. But what I'm going to do is that I am going to take from my own personal journey, as somebody who was sitting at home in South Africa, and I was thinking, the finances, because I remember when I sat on YouTube and I was looking at what other people were saying regarding the funds, right? It sounded like big figures. It sounded like something so huge, something that personally I wouldn't be able to do, because I was unemployed at the time and I did not even have an idea where I would get those finances. So this video is essentially for somebody who's literally sitting at home and they want to go through this process, but they don't have an idea of what or how are they going to raise these funds. I'm going to share the things that I have done, hoping that you can take what you think will work for you in the process of accumulating these funds until you get to South Korea and until you sort of settled in this foreign country, right? Like I said, I'm still going to emphasize there's so much knowledge that is sitting in so many YouTube videos. Don't let this video be the only video that you watch. Go and watch what other YouTubers are saying. There's so many things that you can find in there that will also help you in that process. So without wasting any of your time, all right, I wrote these things down. I think that the more I write things, the more things it becomes so quick for me to sort of remember what I want to talk about. So the cost of moving. What? Wow. What a wow. And guys, you need to understand me, I don't have time. I'm not going to edit this video. So if my dookie fell in the process, I'm not going to edit. You must see my reality, because guys, like, it's a lot in between everything that is happening, in between learning a foreign language, settling, gym, everything. I must still find time to come and do this, but I won't get time to edit, okay? So yeah, let's get that over and done with. So we are talking the cost of moving, right? We are talking things that you are going to need to cover while you prepare for the process, right? As it has already been known, you're preparing for your SACA, you're preparing your PPC, your police clearance certificate, you're preparing your passport, you are preparing the authentication of your qualifications. This is done in Pretoria. You are preparing for sending the authenticated documents to South Korea. You are preparing for your transcript. You are preparing for your English letters. The prices for these things between last year and now, I'm sure they're still the same, right? This is a the SACA verification, right? This is 610, right? And you've got your PCC. This is 170, right? Your passport, I did my passport a long time ago, so I've got no idea. I did not actually cover this charge because I did my passport in 2019. But apparently the people that have done it say it's 800 rand now. And then you've got DERCO. DERCO is free, right? DERCO is free. And then you are sending your documents. The current price, right? It's 890 at DHL. This is the most affordable, right? And then you've got your transcripts ranging between 100 rand to 350. Most universities in South Africa. I paid only 200 for 2 of mine. And then to go and get my English letters, it was a tedious process because I went to high school in Mpumalanga, so I had to travel to Mpumalanga. So it was, so that's my personal cost. I'm not going to include it in the process, but it was roughly, it's a process that took me around 700 rand to travel to Mpumalanga and come back from Mpumalanga to Joburg. It was around 750. When you look at the costs of moving to South Korea, if you take a sum, if you do your calculations, right, and at the back of your mind, you are thinking of the overall figure, right? Because you think it's a big figure. And I'm not saying it's not a big figure. Those are big rands that you'll be paying. However, what I'm saying is take everything one step at a time. If the overall cost of moving to South Korea is sitting at 37,000, if you look at it as 37,000, uzoquleka. But if you say this 37,000 is a final accumulated at the end, that's where the 37,000 is sitting. But I will break it into bits and pieces, right? Your first bits and piece is this one that's sitting here. Your SACA, your PCC, and your passport. That is your first bit. And this first bit is sitting at 1.6, right? 1,600. What are some of the ways that personally I was able to raise this or raise these funds in bits and pieces? I started making the preparations to move to South Korea about a year ago. And so I entered into 2023 knowing that 2024 I am going. So for me, 2023 was a year of working towards the ultimate goal in 2024, which is moving to another country in 2024, right? And so 2023 then comes with a lot of lifestyle changes. So I literally had to sit down with myself and think, what is important for me to get? What is not important for me to get? All right? What are some of the social activities that I engage in that are just not necessary, but they chow a lot of money. And so I found that by just doing that one consideration where I'm looking at my social engagement, my social activities, what am I doing in a monthly? How often am I going out? What do my outings include? How often am I shopping? Even if it's just Mr. Price, two skippers, or it's just slippers from Pick and Pay. How often am I doing that? And I found out that those are things I do on a monthly basis. I pick up clothes from the shop almost every month. And so I had to now thread with consciousness that I am trying to stop this, because this amount that I'm using to do this particular or this particular activity or this particular thing that I do could actually contribute to the journey that I'm trying to transition into, which is the journey of moving to South Korea. Fine. So I found that just by doing that, I would have a lot of cash. Like, I would have a lot of money. And you need to understand that at the time I was not working. All right. At the time I was not working. And so I decided that, okay, it's fine. And then some opportunity came by. It was an apprenticeship to work at a restaurant. That was outside of the scope of what I studied or the scope of what I wanted to do. But however, the funds that I could potentially get from it could contribute, right? The thing is, once I started then engaging myself with that apprenticeship, I was able to at least save 800 rand in every pay term, which was 2 weeks. So within a month, I would have saved 1.6, and I would put those funds like into big. So it was a short program that was like 6 months, and within that 6 months, by the end of it all, I had raised I think I'd raised 5 point something, or 7 point something. And also I had then contributed to UIF, so then I got the UIF. So where am I going with this? I am going to, don't overrule things that could bring you money on the side, right? In the process of preparing to go to South Korea, don't overrule things that could help you raise the funds, right? Because I could have easily set, oh guys, my tea is gonna get cold. So I could have easily sat there and said, okay, but I'm just going to South Korea. This is not what I want. But then I saw that as an opportunity for me to get more money to save towards the process. So what I'm saying is that essentially, while you are sitting at home, explore revenues to make money, right? Which takes us to me selling acha. In the process of that whole thing, I was also selling acha, because I only work for 3 days in a week, right? And then the other 4 days I was free. So the 4 days I would do my side hustle. Side hustle, I am selling acha. And I would use 500 rand to stock everything. And from selling everything, what I would make back is around 1.2. So from that, I also had an additional 700 rand on the side, right? So I am raising funds to cover these small costs. And so I could take on the small costs as they occur. So if I would contact Saka and Saka said they wanted 610, I immediately had 610 to pay Saka. I go to the police station, I do my PCC, and they want 170. Okay, fine. I immediately had 170 to pay for my police clearance certificate. But I don't want the police to take it to CRC themselves. I want to go there myself because the process is quicker if you go to Pretoria yourself. So I then immediately always have the money to travel to Pretoria, right? So then my process of getting the police clearance certificate becomes much more quicker, because I got it within 2 weeks. I got my police clearance within 2 weeks. Okay, fine. Passport, I did not do. And then there was DIRCO. Let me tell you the story of DIRCO, right? The documents were free. They were sent by Postnet. I waited for the documents to come back. The documents come back and there was an error in my document. One of the documents was authenticated, however it was not attached together. So the authentication just came, I don't know how I can explain this, but the authentication was on its own, and the authentication was on its own with the degree, but then the SACA is separate from the whole thing. So SACA is vying there alone, right? And when I realized that error, I got so mad that Postnet did not tell me, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll go to DIRCO myself. And then I contacted DIRCO first at the time, and I said to them, this is the issue with my documentation. DIRCO says, if you can come in tomorrow to the office at this time, we'll fix it for you on the spot. So I then had the money to travel there immediately. How am I always having this money to do these things? By not shunning upon small funds that come, by not sitting and not doing anything, right? Or not looking at other ways of raising funds to support the trip, to support the entire trip, right? And then my transcript, same thing. English letter, same thing. That's how I raised this money. And I refer to this money as the tip of the iceberg, right? There's more once you have sent documents to Korea. There's more of the funds that you're still going to need to work towards, you're still going to need to have, and these are very important funds that will ensure that you actually get to South Korea. What am I talking about? Now I'm talking about the process of visa. Let's say you have sent your documents, EPIK then brings back your notice of appointment. Upon receiving now notice of appointment, you must go and do your visa. The visa process is 1,080 Rand, but you are not able to do the visa if you have not done the TB test, which is 850, right? At Jacaranda Hospital, right next to the embassy in Pretoria. That's where I did mine. They were 850. And the doctor was 550. So for the TB, the doctor, and the visa, we are talking 2.5, right? I still have these funds from now what was saved and what came from the small contribution, UIF contributions, right? Fine. But now this is where the big thing comes, because now this is the big money and you're gonna need to take it out all at once, right? This is the big fee, right? Or the big, the biggest thing now that your visa is approved, now that you need to get to South Korea, now that it's showcased, everything, it's a done deal, right? You are approved to come to this country. Guys, I don't understand. Okay, it's fine. So yes, so you are approved to now come. So you need to cover your flight cost. Cost number one, you need to cover your flight cost. You need to cover the things that you are going to buy to travel with to South Korea. You need to buy your suitcases. I know you don't have 3 suitcases sitting in your house right now. This is something you're gonna need to buy. So how then do you raise these funds, right? And I call these the big funds because it's your flight funds, and immediately into that you are getting into your orientation funds and your first month survival funds, right? So flights are affordable months before, right? But you head to the last 2 weeks before traveling, they are expensive. They are much more expensive, or even more expensive on the week that you are traveling. All right. The same flight that I paid 10,262 for, my friend paid 16,400 for that same flight. We were on the same flight. How did I pay 10,000 and how did she pay 16,000? She booked on the week that we were traveling to South Korea. I booked the previous week. The time that I booked my flight was at 2 in the morning, right? I booked my flight in the AM. So it was, fine. And then, no, I'm lying. It was not 2. I checked the flight at 2 a.m., but the flight was booked at around 12-ish during the day. Yes. So now we are talking about the flight cost. Okay? How do you raise flight cost? Before you move, before you even, right? Before anything, does your family know that you are traveling? Does your family know that you are having this goal? Because once you get here, that information is going to be helpful. Them knowing, they are going to contribute one way or another. My family paid for half of the flight and I had to find the other half all on my own, and I was able to, right? And then I learned of the concept of flexible flight, right? Traveling with a flexible flight. Basically, if you've received your NOA, the NOA already has a confirmation of the date that you need to travel to South Korea. If you book your flight, let's say 3 weeks before, you're most likely going to pay 7K for the same flight that I paid 10K for the same flight that my friend paid 16K for. All right? But you can get it at 7K and then add the flexible option where you can change your date. It's an additional 1.4, meaning that around 8 point something you can get the same flight. What is the flexible flight for? It's for in case EPIK decides to change the date. You can change the date with the airline without them having to charge you anything, without them having to increase the price of your flight based on the fact that the dates have changed. Because if you do decide to book early, and for some weird reason EPIK decides to change dates, then you changing dates with the airline will cost you an arm and a leg. So it's much better if you get into the flexible flight, or you book a flexible flight, right? And then there's 2 affordable airlines, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I see Emirates. I see people always like Emirates. I see also people always like Qatar. You see now I can book myself Qatar going back home. Now I can book myself Qatar or Emirates coming back from home, coming back to South Korea. Because why? Because the finances are now in a better state. But now we are talking about somebody that financially, you know. So there's two flights that I felt that are affordable. One is Cathay Pacific, and the second one is Ethiopian. Let me tell you what is going to happen. My friend here in Korea, the other one, traveled with Cathay Pacific, right? I and my other friend traveled with Ethiopian Airlines. You go and check the reviews on social media, particularly the South Africans in South Korea page. There's so many negative reviews sitting there. But I flew with the same flight. And if somebody said to me that flight was specifically booked by EPIK itself for all the South African people that had applied for EPIK, you know what? I would believe them, because that flight was flooded with passengers who were boarding the flights and were all going to the EPIK orientation. We are sitting here. Did we go and write a review about Ethiopian Airlines recently? No. So what you get online is the outdated. One thing about Ethiopian Airlines that I noted: arrive early, make sure your bags are checked in early, 3 hours before. 3 hours before. Then trust you me, you will get to Incheon Airport, you will find everything intact. Personally, I don't like this thing of covering my bags with plastic. So my bags personally did not have plastics, and my bags were intact when I got to Incheon. Everything that was in my bag was in my bag. All right. So it was all good, right? And then secondly, Cathay Pacific. Okay, before we go to Cathay Pacific, go to Ethiopian. We're still on Ethiopian Airline. How was the service inside? Right? People say layover, the layover for the 2 hours layover is too little. The other flight will leave you behind. You see the 2 hour layover in Addis Ababa that happens? It was sufficient time. I'm literally talking as somebody that went through a 1 hour 45 minutes layover in Addis Ababa, right? It was enough, like literally an hour, because the flight drops you here, the bus takes you here, you vie to where it takes you. I even got to the bathroom. My friend and I got to the bathroom. From the bathroom, then we got to the flight, and we sat inside the flight. So the flight did not leave anyone behind that was meant to be in the flight, right? The food was good. It was not the best of the best. I don't even know how the best of the best is supposed to be like in a flight, because I've never flown internationally. But everything I ate at Ethiopian, I would eat it again. I was never denied anything. I could literally ask for coffee and a juice and another juice, so I would have whatever I'd wanted without actually being told or being. So I was rather quite comfortable in the flight, right? And one thing that made me choose to fly Ethiopian mostly had to do with me raising the funds for my fees, for my flight, and raising my fee for first month survival, right? Because by the time I got to this point, guys, by the time I got to a point where I'm needing to prepare flights, by the time I got there, the savings and the side monies I was making had run dry. And so I had to find creative ways to now raise um, the money for the flight and raise the money for surviving first month, right? Right. So that's the reason why I choose Ethiopian, and I'll tell you how going with Ethiopian helped me raise this fund. Ethiopian has got a baggage allowance of 323 kg bags, one 7 kg bag, a backpack, or a laptop bag, or a handbag. So, in actual fact, Ethiopian allows you 69 kg of check-in bag, 7 kg of a carry-on, and 2 kg of a personal bag, right? That's enough space. And trust you, I did not pack a whole lot of things because you won't need all those things that are at home. I'll tell you why in the next video. I'll do that, what to pack. It's fine. But for now, what I did with the space, I already decided the things I'm buying for myself are going into one bag, right? The things I am bringing for myself, the clothes, the shoes, the what, are going into another bag. And then there's one suitcase, 123 kg, that was then free. This 123 kg, what I did, I went on to the South Africans in South Korea page, and a week before I wrote a post that said, I am coming to South Korea. Whoever needs a package, these are the prices. For 1 kg, it's 350. Above 1 kg, it's 550, right? Those are my prices. I can't remember how many packages I brought, but they were not for more than 10 people, all right? They were not for more than 10 people. And I know that from just selling space in that suitcase, I was able to raise 8,000, right? Now let's speak about your safety in doing that. This is a form of raising money, right? To cover either for your flight or to cover for 1 month survival, which is what I was working towards. Let's speak about the safety of doing this. If you decide to do this, by all means necessary, and I mean by all means necessary, if it's goods that you need to carry for someone, let it be things that you go and buy yourself. That way, you are able to charge them a running fee. So this person would send you your 350, which is the money you charge them for 1 kg. Then they would send you, maybe you say your running fee, it's 150, right? And then this is 500 rand, right? And then they would then send you the money to send them the package when you get to Incheon Airport. So if it's less than 1 kg, you are looking at 10K. So they would need to send the 10K. So essentially, this person is most likely sending 700 to your account before you even leave South Africa, right? So before you leave, this 8,000, you already have it with you, right? It's not you will pay me when I get to, because they need to give you even the money to buy those things that they need, right? So now I'm talking about the safety of doing this. Don't allow somebody to send you a package. If somebody is sending a package, some people will say, please carry textbooks for me. I'm a UNISA student, please carry textbooks. It's fine. You open each and every package that goes into your suitcase so that you don't encounter any problems. You open every package to very I'm chowing cinnamon, guys, so that you verify what is in the package, okay, so that you know that those things are safe to travel with, okay. So when you decide to do that, you decide to do what I've done, always ensure your safety, right? And then let's move to Cathay Pacific and its affordability. Cathay Pacific is affordable. Traveling in the flight is great. My friend Polly told me, she shared her experience. The service is great, the food is great. However, the only problem is space allowance. The space is limited. You can only pack 30 kgs of luggage, and this is your total luggage. And then you've got your carry-on, which is the 7 kg. All right, but you don't have a personal bag. So you carry your 30 kg of luggage, you carry your 7 kg of carry-on. That's you traveling into Cathay, right? So 1 month survival. What's the first thing that you need to be aware of for your first month, month 1? Your medicals. At orientation, you're paying 780, 50K in Korean won for your medicals. You get to your apartment, your MOE will send you an email, 30K, 500 Rand for a latent TB test, all right? And then from there, it's your groceries. My safe bet, I would say 4K, right? My safe bet, I would say 4K. I was able to just eat enough and not starve, having 4,000 Rand. All right. And then there's the cost of traveling if you are traveling to your school. So if you are traveling to your school, I can say if you're taking a bus, 2,000 is safe for a monthly tag. But if you are like me, my school is like, I'm here, 7-Eleven, it's the back gate of the school, the front gate is at the main road. So I don't travel to school. All right, so that really is determined by your school and the decision they made when looking for accommodation. So overall, what am I saying in this video? The overall that I'm saying in this video is that if you're staying at home and we are saying I don't have the money to get to the process of getting to South Korea, I just want to tell you that it's not impossible. It's entirely possible. You just need to think creatively and find the right guidance, follow the right information, because these spaces, YouTube has got so much information being shared by other natives, by different people. So don't sleep on the information. Find things that work for you. Get on the South Africans in South Korea and find how are other people raising funds. Don't be afraid to explore all revenues, right? Don't say I'm shy, I wouldn't know how to do this and whatnot. No. I also did not know I was capable of being such a business person until I actually started negotiating my ways of raising these funds, and these negotiations came as a part of me selling the archer, me getting into an apprenticeship to raise the funds, me getting into selling space in my suitcase. How much am I charging for people? What am I charging them for? When do I want my money? Who's paying for international withdrawal fees? when I get to Incheon Airport to send them their packages, because I was not going to carry their packages to the EPIK orientation. Okay, I did carry some packages to the EPIK orientation. I'm looking at one that they never fetched 3 months